Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Analyst here, and I hope all of you guys are having a good morning, evening, wherever you guys are from. And welcome to the Crypto Analyst live stream, where we go over everything cryptocurrency related. We do some fundamental analysis, we do some technical analysis, and even some historical analysis. And I talk about what's going on in the market right now, and my personal opinion and insight on where I believe it's going from here. So it's really cool, and we're gonna, of course, as always, do requests from you guys, the audience, see what you guys have to say, take some technical analysis requests, and answer whatever questions that you guys might have, and really cover that in the live stream today. So I'm happy to be able to get back into the habit of this, and videos alike. We had a great video today, a little bit earlier, talking more about the technicals in the short term of Bitcoin and really all of cryptocurrency, and then now hopefully we're able to cover on a little bit more than that. I do apologize because this was supposed to be live at 8 o'clock. I honestly forgot a little bit, and now we're starting now, but everything's going to be good. So first of all, I am going to make sure that the link goes out to everyone, because that is one of the primary focuses. And wow, you guys are filling in fast. Yes, so you guys are waiting. I appreciate that. Sorry for the little bit of echo for the time being. And I did get everything prepared though, so we can literally just drop and tweet. And there we go, and we're good to go. Cool, so welcome everybody, great to have you guys all in here. Matt and AD and Ishmullah, great to have all of you guys in here. Welcome. Matt says, hello from Long Island. Welcome, dude. Hello from Virginia. I'm currently in Virginia. In about a week or two, I'll be back in North Carolina, so that's going to be cool. AD, welcome. Ishmael says, how do you feel about XRP and NASDAQ adding it? I actually really like XRP. Okay, so here's the thing. Everyone I really like XRP. I'm a big fan of it. I don't think it's gonna go to like $100 at least not anytime soon, like realistically. I don't see it going to like $100 or anything, but I'm a big fan of it, and I do think it's gonna do very well. So, and I'm very bullish. The fact that the NASDAQ exchange that they're making wants to add it. Yo, from sunny California. I wish I was in sunny California right now. What's up? Abdullah, great to have you in here. AJ, great to have you in here. Fairfax, Virginia. Welcome, guys. So I'm going to give everyone a second to join in here before we get started on the technical analysis, just so everyone has a chance. I just sent out the notification. But now, so I guess everyone has a chance to join in before I really start talking about the meat and potatoes of, I guess, what's happening in here and in some of the altcoins as well. Because if you guys haven't noticed already, there was a new rejection wick today, which did cause me to start actually entering into positions. Cool, thanks for your opinion. We waiting over here in New York. Yeah, I mean, I was trading NASDAQ a lot today. Not that that has anything to do with NASDAQ adding like XRP or anything, but yeah. I mean, I'm loving this right now. Okay, wow. So as we're speaking, order filled. Perfect. This is actually really nice. Perfect. So I'm actually trading a lot of different things at the moment. I think I was just trading the ES, SPY, S&P futures contracts, and I'm also in a couple of Bitcoin trades right now. But with that being said, let's go ahead and go back to my chat. There we are, perfect. Bonjour from Quebec. Welcome, welcome. What about ADA? Yeah, I'm actually another big fan of ADA. I actually own ADA. I want to go ahead and move this to the daily before I get into this too much. Take a look at this. I mean, the golden cross is looking good. My shorts might get destroyed, but we'll see. We shall see. So here's my, so to answer your question, I'm bullish on ADA. I own it as well. So, I think it's good, solid, and, if I didn't, I wouldn't own it. Poker Throat says, what's up? What's up, Poker? Great to have you, as always. So let me go ahead and start elaborating on this and diving into this. So moving this back, well, first of all, I guess we can look at this from the daily perspective. Golden Cross looks pretty good right now. Really no reason to believe that it's, no reason to really say that it's failed otherwise, besides, really, I guess this is kind of the point of where we'll kind of know if it's going to fail or not. I do have shorts lined up all in here because I just see this thing coming down. Yeah, so I basically just see this thing coming down from here. It's very possible that it doesn't though. And if we move this to the 4 hour, we can kind of see why. So basically what we had is rising channel, fell out of rising channel, and then now we have a new rising channel form. The significance of this new rising channel is the fact that we're using previous support now as resistance. So the previous bottom of this rising channel is now actually getting rejected, or the new rising channel is actually rejecting former support. So former support now turned resistance is a pretty bearish thing to see. And it wasn't like it was just a one and done. It was a, now this actually is a set line, because we have 1, 2, 3 touches as rejection, which would make me think ideally if you have 1, then 2, then 3, especially 2 of them being back to back, ideally I would imagine that this comes back down to support, even if it wants to break out from here, because that's just a lot of rejection in this area. So what I would imagine this doing is maybe setting a double top in this area, or even really just cutting down from here. Not to say that it could be all bad and everything's doom and gloom, but I just think that, getting this much rejection in this area, I think what it is going to end up doing in this area is setting a lower high and then ultimately coming back down to either the 50 EMA or to the, to the support. The word is slipping my mind. So let's go ahead and talk about the RSI and everything. So I talked about the channel now and saying, again, multiple rejection candles up here, which is making me a little bit bearish in the very short term, before, ultimately this could come back up. And what I've done in layering shorts all throughout here, what that's done is given me the ability to like exit positions at a time. So instead of just like entering all my position here and exiting it all down here or something like that, since I have scattered them all the way up, my positions, what I'm able to do is actually kind of average my entry. It averages my entry as this goes up. It's a kind of a cool way to do things. It's a nice way to do things, so that you get like a better area of value. But also, I can do the exact same thing when I'm going down, and once I'm in profit, I can start saying like I want to sell like a quarter of it at the 50 EMA, and then so on and so forth. Maybe another quarter of it at resistance or at support, and then maybe if it breaks down, I can sell like the rest at the 200 EMA or something along those lines. But for the general consensus right now, I'm looking at this from the 4 hour RSI. I do believe it's just going to end up setting another lower high, probably somewhere in this area, even if it does come up any more. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but I do believe, oh, that's the wrong tool. I do believe that like somewhere, and that's too broad of an area, somewhere like in this area, I do believe is actually going to end up setting a lower high, and then ultimately driving the price back down in Bitcoin, back down here somewhere. So right now, it's nothing too crazy. It does look like it needs to keep moving, or else it could double top on the 4 hour chart, possibly on both MEX and on Bitfinex. Or no, this is Coinbase. So yeah, so if this actually does end up seeing over here, what this would be a lower high and then possibly a tweezer double top if this starts coming down right now, and then that would be a pretty bearish scenario for Bitcoin on top of everything else. But and the other thing is that the MACD in this area is not telling us anything. It hasn't given us any good divergence in a very, very long time. This whole area over here has just been absolutely just a chop fest. There hasn't been any kind of significant information from it. And so if you guys have been wondering why I haven't been using the MACD as a form of divergence and information, it's just because it hasn't been reliable in any way lately, and it hasn't been useful. I think the RSI has been significantly and substantially more, I don't know what the word would be. It's been substantially more useful than the MACD. And really then more so than a lot of indicators over here. So I really like the way that the RSI has been playing out, and so that's what I'm kind of watching closely in this area. Other than that, we can go ahead and there's really not too much to take a look at on Bitcoin. I'd love to answer your guys' questions on this, but I'm going to go ahead and start looking at some of the altcoins, and if you guys have any questions or requests, feel free to ask those. But I did cover Bitcoin in all of today's video, so I'll come back to it. But I do want to go through some of the altcoins and take a look at those as well, because again, we've gone through Bitcoin twice today, just now and on the video earlier. So if you guys have any questions or requests or anything like that, feel free to shoot those my way, and I'd love to be able to answer or work with those in any way I can. So taking a look at Ethereum next, holding support, bouncing right off of it. BAT and XRP will do. So this is what we were talking about last live stream. You can kind of adjust this guy just a little bit so it's like more clean. But yeah, so this relative support line played out absolutely massively on Ethereum, and you can see this over here, and that you had, you know, like what, your first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, now nearly 7th or even 8th. Even though these are a little bit farther off the support line, you can still see that this general area down here is going to be this support area that whenever it comes close to this relative range, it's bouncing pretty fast off of this range and going back upwards. And so you've seen this multiple times now. This is a great example. Bounced off this area, hit the 200 EMA, got rejected from the 200 EMA, came back down, set a higher low, and then now it's actually broken through the EMAs and kind of hovering around the 200 and the 50. It did just see a death cross on the 4 hour, and that's again nothing too significant in my opinion. You know, not for the time being at least. So we'll have to see. I mean, it's not like a bullish thing to see, but I just don't think it's like anything too horrible. At least not for the time being. I do think that you have to be a little bit careful, because over here what we did see is ultimately is a breakdown below the 50, consolidation, breakdown below the 200. Coming up, you saw a rejection from the 200. You ended up setting a lower high, coming back up to the 50 EMA, ultimately falling under it again, and then having a breakdown because you had a death cross on your 4 hour. The exact same thing was shown over here, where you had an initial breakdown, consolidation, breakdown below the 50 EMA, breakdown below the 200 EMA, bouncing, getting rejected from your 200 EMA once again, and actually falling back under it, having a death cross in this area, and then leading back downwards. So you have to be careful, because these patterns are very, very similar. And what this could be an indication is of something of a larger trend. So again, over here you did have you know, breakdown below the 50, breakdown below the 200, or breakdown below the 50, consolidation, breakdown below the 200, harsh bounce back up, then following that, rejection from the 200 EMA on both of these guys, coming back up to the 50 EMA, getting rejected from that, falling back down, and then having a death cross, and then, you know, obviously this pattern continuing over in this range. So for both of these guys, again, very similar patterns on the 4 hour chart of Ethereum. So maybe this is an indicator of a larger trend to come, and possibly, you know, us touching back down to this green line before bouncing again. So maybe if this was going to play out historically in what looks like a very, very similar situation, maybe you would have something where this actually gets back to the green line, the overall support line that's been around since December of last year, before really bouncing around 137 and hopefully setting a higher high from here. But ideally, that would be a perfect world for Ethereum and going anywhere from here. Miguel says, good night, everyone. Welcome, Miguel. Miguel, you're the one from Baguette Land, right? Baguette. Anderson, welcome. Great to have you. Knowles. Jalen, welcome. All right. So with that being said, on Ethereum, that's the 4 hour chart. Again, just doing a little bit of a historical analysis over here. That really just caught my eye, and I kind of just noticed that like as I was talking about it. But that's kind of the thing that I look for. You know, immediately I do notice that there was a previous death cross, and both of the similar situations in both of those. So that's the kind of just the area right now, is that, you know, and I'm sure there's actually some pretty good divergence. So consistent lower highs on the RSI. I think something that's possible is that this guy comes back down, sets in a lower high, and again probably pumps kind of hard. No significant divergence. It is, I believe, a lower high. Yeah, so it's barely ever so, but it is a lower high. Coming in from the oversold territory, actually setting a lower low on the RSI. So maybe it has like one more leg down. You know, I guess just kind of trying to forecast this. Maybe it does have one leg down, but in the short term, I would say it does look a little bit bearish. So, but the nice part about this is, well, I guess it does start. So Ethereum around 161 starts hitting some kind of heavy resistance, and anywhere from like 161 to 165 is going to be like its hard resistance zone, and then above that it's going to be like 171 to like 174 is going to be another hard resistance zone, and then above that there's not too much. And if it can actually get above that, I think that it can start soaring with kind of colors and maybe pushing back up over 200 again. And I know a lot of people would be happy about seeing a, you know, an over $200 Ethereum. So let me go ahead and take a look at that. Hey, oh, Jalen, did you want BAT to Bitcoin or did you want it to the US dollar pairing? And same thing with you, Ishmula. Did you want XRP to the Bitcoin pairing, to the Satoshi pairing, or did you want it to the US dollar pairing? What are your thoughts on Mitch Ray? I don't know. I feel like that's a loaded question. I guess it depends why you're asking. You know, so me and Mitch Ray used to work together. I don't know if you guys know. Like, kind of worked. Well, yeah, we worked for the same company. Anyone watching the Ethereum charts? $200? Yeah, so we actually are. We just finished it. XRP to BTC, BAT to USD. All right, so to USD or Bitcoin. Let's do it to BTC for now because we'll probably get a better reading off of it just because it is a lower, I say lower, it's not that low of a market cap coin, but it's nothing like, you know, like Ethereum or Bitcoin or XRP. It's not something that has like a giant market cap. So we are going to do it because we'll probably get a better reading off of it, off of the BTC pairing. So immediately what I'm looking for over here is like an overall trend or something like that, to find like an overall set form of support, which it looks like we might have found. Probably something along the lines of this. Maybe not get it too well. Probably something along the lines of this. Roughly seeing that this relative area, more so than a strict line, is actually getting used as support on the overall scale. In the short term, you can see that this has a pretty parabolic, nice little run up over here. So I'd be looking at something along the lines of this, or maybe even this. And this one looks like it might work out a little bit better. The only problem I have with this one is that it's cutting out so much. And if you guys know me, I don't like cutting out candle charts. I think every piece of information is important to determining what the future holds. And so I really don't like cutting out things over here. However, it does look like this is one, maybe possibly one of the rare situations where it could be useful because of the fact that you do see this thing riding, touching it, riding, bouncing off of it, actually breaking down, seeing rejection from the same line, coming back up, piercing above it, breaking down again, seeing more rejection, coming back up, seeing rejection again, and then breaking through it. And now that it has come back down, you're starting to see support being used in this area once again. I will say on BAT right now, the first thing that I noticed without looking at like much else is that it looks like it's setting up a descending triangle. And the reason why I'm saying that is that I'm seeing a falling level of resistance with a relative flat range of support. And you guys can see that pretty clearly if we're looking at this like that. So the reason that this would be is because you're relatively holding the 6,960 Satoshi range. You know, this relative support range over here, you've already used it 3 times and you keep bouncing off the same area and setting lower highs. And so what this means is that you're setting up a potential descending triangle with already 3 touch points on support, 2 or really 3 touch points on resistance as well, 2 swing highs on resistance, 3 swing lows on support. Ideally, you would like to see this touch one more time at the top and then actually break down. Now, if this was to break down, my first target would be the 200 EMA, and below that, I'd be looking at previous candle body highs. Like probably around this area would be a pretty good one because you have these 3 guys over here, and then below that, you know, it could get a little bit uglier until it got into a lower range. But, you know, I think it definitely doesn't look necessarily bullish because I just can't unsee this ascending triangle now. So, you know, maybe it's possible that it contradicts this, but in the short term, it certainly does look like an ascending triangle on the BTC pairing chart. You know, I just think that it's hard to, it's hard for me to look past that, I guess. Need some water. Excuse me, guys. Jalen says I'm flexible. Lol, my bad, bro. I'm neutral about asking. No, yeah. So do you think Mitch is good or is he faking it? No, it's not like a touchy situation. Hold on, let me go through the rest of the questions first. Binance stablecoin, Facebook stablecoin will soon be stuck in the stable land. Matter of fact, can you do XRP to the USD? Actually, yes, we can. Can we do ZIL to BTC? Absolutely. So while I'm doing XRP, I guess I'll talk about Mitch. So if you guys don't know, Mitch Ray is another guy who does stuff very similar to what I do. He does more so of like just live streaming. Basically kind of what I do now is what he does entirely. I do more so like videos and fundamentals and teaching and stuff. But basically me and him used to work together. We worked for a company called Hyped on Crypto. That's how we met. And me and him were like, I feel like we were like pretty close for a while for the, you know, first half of last year. And then I don't want to like start any drama or anything because me and him have absolutely no beef. But long story short, he ended up making a lot of money. And it oh my lord, I could have sworn. Yeah, basically long story short, he ended up making a lot of money and the company was, they were always really nice to me. He said that they were trying to steal his money and something like that. Basically, both sides were at fault. He was being really rude to them, and as a result of them being rude, they were not treating him right, and so things blew up. I don't think that I don't watch him anymore, so I don't know. But basically, long story short, I don't really know. I haven't watched his material in almost a year. I tried. He was kind of rude to me after everything went down because of the company. He was pretty rude to me when all of that happened. Me and him were friends for a while, so it was kind of just weird that he kind of like stiff-shouldered me so bad. But I think things kind of started going to his head a little bit, and it wasn't all his fault. It really wasn't. But I do think that the money and fame thing started kind of going to his head a little bit, and I think that he is a really smart guy when it comes to technicals and technical analysis and everything. As to like, do I think he's faking it? Or so what do you mean by like, do I think he's faking it? Like faking his, I think that like he's capable of like being a good trader and everything. I think he makes the large majority of his money. The large majority of the money that he makes isn't from trading. I'm not positive on that, but that's just what I would imagine because I knew how much he made, and I knew that it's probably significantly more than how much he made off trading. So like I can safely say I've made like a lot more off of trading than I have off of like YouTube or anything else. And I can like statistically show that. But it seems like he comes up with new patterns, like he's studying and learning it and as he's going along. See, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't watch him for educational purposes anymore. I used to recommend him to a lot of people, but I don't anymore. Because I think he's kind of fallen away from his roots a lot. And again, I haven't watched him in a long time, but last time I watched him a while ago, it was more so like a reality TV show sort of thing. And I'm sorry, I'll get back to XRP in a sec, but I do want to answer this because you'd be surprised how much it's asked. But I think it's more so like a reality TV show thing where people just like throw money at him and he drinks on stream and like goofs around, and then sometimes he does TA like here and there. Like, I don't know. It's just not like the most informative of places, and I just think that there's better people to learn from. He taught me a lot, and I'm really grateful for that, and he really helped me out. But I just think that like I would rather spend my time on another channel, if that makes any sense. Again, he's smart. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to make trades. He's proven that. But I don't know. It seems like I think like his personality to you guys, is fake, if that makes any sense. Like, I think he's very, like, I think he's very fake to his audience. Like, I think his trading's real, but like his personality is like a total front, in my opinion. But talking about XRP here. This has been like one of the greatest support lines on the overall trend over here. You can see just like touch points absolutely everywhere. And with this actually breaking down and coming back up over here, this is a little bit of a unique situation. Created an absolutely phenomenal dip buy for anyone who was to participate in it on the US dollar pairing. And now XRP hovering around 31 cents or so, bouncing right off of the 200 EMA. This is significant because it did see rejection over here. So what you did, you saw rejection 1, rejection 2, came back down, and then broke through the 200 EMA. And now it's bouncing off of what was former resistance is now turned support, and that's actually a pretty good thing because of the fact that you got rejected from this area twice, came back down, rallied, and was able to break through it. And now that you're settling on previous in addition to actually settling on the 50 EMA, it's also settling on this previous candle body top over here. So it's really a 2-in-1, holding the 200 EMA and a previous top. And I think that if this holds, is actually a really, really bullish thing to see for XRP. And I would imagine that it touches the 200 EMA pretty soon again, considering that, you know, whether or not Bitcoin dumps. So if Bitcoin can keep holding this level or even pumping upwards, I do think that the US dollar evaluation of XRP would probably go up, you know, 2 or 3 times that whatever Bitcoin does. Just because of the spot that it's in, and does look bullish for the time being. Looking at this on the MACD, higher high on its MACD chart, and lower swing actually on the 4-hour chart. So that's actually pretty bearish to see. Over here is, a lower swing high. I will say that this lower swing high is actually in the overbought range. And if you guys know anything about how I use my RSI, I generally like to have my RSI have lower swing highs in the overbought range or in the oversold range, but not in this median range where it's just neutral, because you get really mixed readings when you do something like this. And when you get like a, say like a lower swing high in the neutral range, well, this meant absolutely nothing because it wasn't a lower swing high, it was just a fake out. And I guess you could have said like the same thing like this, because you could have been like, oh, well, this is the lower swing high, like, whoa, boom, boom, rejection, rejection, and then it just broke through it. So I don't like to do the whole lower swing high thing unless it's in the oversold range, because that's where it actually matters, and that's where, I believe that I make the best trades, because you get the best area of value. I'll watch anyone trying to do XTZTA. Is it a coin? XTZ? Oh, it is. Oh my gosh. What is XTZ? Let me take a look at this. Oh, Tezos. Oh, I know Tezos. What's Tezos at now? So, yeah, dude, Tezos is doing good. I think someone had another request. Zill was the request, then we'll do some Tezos. Zill to BTC, I would assume. Yeah, Binance. So, with Zilliqa, doesn't look too shabby, kind of. So with Zill, this is kind of what I'm seeing. Let's go ahead and kind of try to draw up this and see what we can draw out over here. I'm actually going to go ahead and move this to the daily because I want to get an overall picture of what their chart looks like before I do anything else. Kind of looks like potential falling wedge. But it's hard to say. So this is what I would say on the macro. It looks like it's getting close to bottoming out. However, one thing to notice and really note is that below this area, there is absolutely no support, no anything. So anywhere below this range, like, what are we judging this off of? How do we, like, why do we think that it's going to stop here? There's no previous candle bodies in this area. So the only thing that we're really going off of is this support line. That's really the only thing that we can kind of pray that, you know, Zilliqa catches itself on. Because we have nothing else to judge from over here. So the sole reason I'm saying that it's potentially close to bottoming is the fact that it, this support line, and it's not even a confirmed support line because it only has 2 touches, and ideally you would like to have at least 3 touches for any kind of confirmed support or resistance. So with this being said, I would like it to, ideally it kind of bounce off this area and ideally break out from here, because what that would mean is that you would have your 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then break. And I say that like it's an Elliott. It's not an Elliott wave, but like numbering your touch points. Right now you have 2 on support and 2 on resistance, and then hopefully seeing your 3rd on resistance would actually lead to the breakout itself over here. Moving this back, I guess we can take a look at this on the 1 day. Okay, so this actually is a really good sign. So on the 1 day, you're actually showing bullish divergence over here as long as this holds. It's showing a lower swing high on the MACD, or a higher swing low on the MACD oversold range, which is actually a very, very bullish thing to see. Actually might get me interested into, might make me interested into swinging Zill. I actually really like that. Also showing triple bullish divergence on your MACD. Over here, triple bullish, 1, 2, 3. Arguably double bullish, and over here it's very clear double bullish divergence on your RSI 1 day. On your 4-hour chart, really no crazy divergence. If anything, it actually has double bearish divergence on the MACD. But other than that, I do think that the overall candle chart of this guy looks pretty decent, because there's not too much to complain about besides the fact that it's, saw rejection from previous low recently, and seeing rejection from the 50 EMA on the 4-hour pretty hard. I do think that it looks like it's like a falling wedge sort of deal, though. So yeah, I mean, that looks like a really solid, no matter how you look at this, in kind of a cool way. I might write this one down because it actually looks pretty good. Potentially to swing. So I'm actually really glad I looked at this. I'm actually going to take note of this guy. Zill's actually looking at probably the best thing that we've looked at tonight. Reason why: 4-hour falling wedge, 1 day giant falling wedge, bullish divergence on the MACD and RSI. I think, yeah, bullish divergence on the MACD and the RSI on the 1 day chart. On the 4-hour chart, looking a little bit more bearish on the MACD. On the RSI, I would say it's still bullish. And on the RSI 4-hour, or on the candle chart 4-hour, it's actually very bullish. So ideally what I would see over here is maybe you do have like 1 more rejection, but I think ultimately this guy's getting ready to break the 50 EMA again. And what is Zill at? Yeah, so it could be a decent swing. So I guess this is what I can go ahead and do and actually put in a long position and draw this guy up on stream. So let's do something like this. So let's do this. I think that's pretty fair. All good, bro. You're doing a hella job over there. Yo, thank you so much, Ish. Means a lot. I'll watch anyone trying to do XTCTA. We'll do that next. First chain with the on-chain governance. Oh, yeah, Tezos. One-man army. Welcome, dude. Great to have you in here. Need vet loving. He goes, Brendan, ... I don't know what I do. So yeah, so let's go ahead and set this up over here. Such potential. Dude, one-man army, you've been missing it, brother. I've been killing trades. I know, I haven't seen you in here in a while. I've been slacking on live stream, so it's partially my fault. But one-man army, we still, I still have 100%. I haven't lost a trade since February, I don't know what it is, 27th? 100% win rate for all of April and May. Or not in May. All of March and April. And January. But last trade I lost, I believe, was February 27th. So. Not me. Oh. Scared me. No. So with Zill, what I've done over here is actually looked at, what was I saying? So what I've done over here is actually drawn up a potential long and the way that I would do this on TradingView chart. And so what I've done is the red zone is my entry and my stop loss is below that kind of deal. Or really, this is my whole entry zone. This is my whole exit zone. What this would be is a risk first reward of 5.4. Not too bad. Could be better. What you can always do in here is like tighten your range a little bit. So I could just say like, you know, this is my range and anything below this is my stop loss or something like that. That would make this better. That would make it a 7.94, which would be really ideal. You'd have a 5% range in between your stop loss and anywhere in your entries. Again, you can tighten this up for risk management purposes, but a potential gain of 41% to the upside, and that's not even you know, that's not even measuring a breakout. So that's just kind of really towards resistance. If this thing is going to touch resistance, it'd probably be somewhere around 35%. So if I was looking for a swing, I think it would be at least that. If I was looking for, I guess that would be, so that would be pretty good. So for the 4-hour falling wedge, what this would be is actually pretty accurate. The breakout would lead us back up to resistance. But if we were going to break out of the 1-day falling wedge, it would be more so something like this. Ideally, probably something like at least like this, something that's pushing like at least 60, maybe 70% even. So like either way, I do think that this one does have potential. Even if it's 25%, that's a pretty good swing trade, something that I would be worth, you know, possibly even entering into here. Let's see where it looks like on my dude over here. I mean, yeah, so you can really see that it's riding the Kyrios as well. It's riding the Kyrios resistance as well, and you can see that in the way that it's actually getting rejected over here. Rejected 1, 2, 3 different times from the Kyrios. Again, I think that this whole thing is leading up to, it's a lot of pressure getting squeezed, and potentially one that's moving towards a potential breakout in the future of Zill. So I'm definitely interested. What was it? XTZ? He goes, not you, vet. Not what I meant, dude. McLovin, welcome back. What up, crypto peeps? What's up, McLovin? XTZ, I like this. I will tell you that right now. So, immediately what I noticed, potential cup and handle right here. Potential cup, handle. I mean, this is, wow. I really like this because of the fact that you have, and I wonder if I should change this, but right here, very nice cup, rounding action, coming back up to the same level of resistance and now sloping down. And the cool thing about this is that the slope down isn't, well, it should be more so of like a channel, but it's not. But more so the fact that it's actually bouncing off the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart as support as well with everything else. So ideally, though, when you do see a cup and handle, you'd like to see like kind of like a falling, excuse me, parallel channel, something that like looks like that. Like obviously we can't do that with this guy. I mean, maybe we could if we do something like that, maybe. So maybe you could say like, oh, well, this is the cup and that's the handle, and now it's just getting ready. So if that's the case, you know, might not be in a bad place. XTZ is not doing too bad. It's about where it was at last October. Can I do ADA next? Absolutely. So I mean, on the 4-hour chart, it looks good. And so this is, again, another higher swing low. Boom, bullish divergence hit on the 1 day. I mean, yeah. There's not too much to talk about. It hasn't been around long enough, but, like, pretty clear uptrend. Like, I don't know where I'm even supposed to draw this guy. I mean, your MACD is even rounding on your 1 day chart. Maybe it's just to set up like triple bearish divergence or something over here, but like even then you still have a long time of upside before you even have to worry about that. I don't know. There's not too much to say over here, but you know, it certainly does look bullish. I will say the only thing that is about this is that you're potentially at a level of resistance currently, being so close to resistance. So ideally I wouldn't want to buy here. Why? Because it's so close to resistance. So maybe if it gets back to like the 200 EMA area, I could like long down here, keep a stop loss in. This is probably not a trade I would take, but like I wouldn't say that this chart looks bad at all. And the nice thing about this is that it wasn't a parabolic run up. What this does, this is how charts should look like, because what you did is come up, consolidate down, come up, consolidate down, create consolidation, come up, consolidation, come up, consolidation, came back down. Oh look, you have something to catch yourself on because you created consolidation over here. And that's how healthy charts look. Now, if this was just like a came up and it started coming back down here, I'd be like, all right, this is in trouble. Why? Because it has nowhere to catch itself on. But it has like all these layers in here that it can. After the July court sessions, all big exchanges will know if they can list XTZ or not, trying to accumulate as much as possible. Got out of Ethereum in December/January. Awesome so far. Yeah, I got out of Ethereum as well. I'm going to be honest with you. McLovin says, can you do the total crypto market cap except Bitcoin? Yeah. So like the altcoin market cap. I can tell you that right now. Tell you what. Let me get the phone and I'll do some math. $95 minus 175. The total altcoin market cap is $80 billion. Bitcoin has a total market cap of 90 billion. The total market cap is 175 billion. 175 billion minus 95 billion is 80 billion. So Bitcoin dominance is at 54.4%, which is decently high. Nothing too crazy. All right. Back to chat. Thank you for your input. Bought really below the current prices for the Ethereum. Oh, nice. Can you have a gander at Ontology the USDT? Please, good money. Yeah, absolutely, Floyd. Not please, Ontology. Ontology. Thank you. I meant the chart analysis of the altcoins. Oh, yeah, for sure. What was this? EOS, ADA, EOS, and Ontology. All right. And then we're going to go back to Bitcoin. EOS, I guess, to BTC. I hope that's what you wanted. See what we can draw over here. Something more so like that. That works. So obviously there's a clear resistance line up here. You can see that this thing has been getting ridden now. Still using it even all the way down here kind of a support line over in here, kind of sloppy, but for the most part you can see that this is a relative support area that's been around since March of this year. Seeing, you know, very clear rejection from the 50 EMA, which is bearish. Double bearish divergence on your MACD right now. And a lower swing high on your RSI, which is a very bullish thing to see. If you could have caught that, it would have been very nice. Lower swing high shows that there's lower levels of negative momentum coming in here upon a separate swing low attempt from the bears, showing that the bulls are just that much stronger than the bear, even though on their attempt downwards, they were not nearly to make it close to where they were previously, showing that the bulls are significantly stronger than the bears in this area, hence the rise in price. Vice versa for all the things up top when you see situations like this. You know, yeah, so it's a million of them. So on the 4 hour, you know, it's really in a neutral zone right now. Maybe short term a little bit bearish. Maybe it comes back down to support down here and then bounces again. Hopefully breaks out, right? Ideally. But I don't know. It kind of looks neutral right now. You just saw rejection. You're kind of in the middle of nowhere. You're not at resistance and you're not at support. You're kind of just floating around. The MACD does show bearish, but again, the MACD's kind of been unreliable lately. And on your RSI, you're just kind of floating in no man's land. Yeah, I mean, we can't even draw anything over there. So, nothing too much to look at on EOS, at least not to the BTC pairing. I'll take a quick glance at the US dollar pairing to see if there's anything there, but looks pretty similar, honestly. Okay, so actually here's a good support line. So over this you can see a very, very good support line. You know, 1, 2, kind of 3, 4 touches. And it's really just doing the same thing. It's floating around the EMAs. I can't even tell in this if it's seeing rejection or if it's showing support. It's just like magnetically sealed up and down around this area. Which basically just means that the price of EOS hasn't been moving a lot. So it's not anywhere where I'd want to short it, but it's not necessarily anywhere I would want to long it. Because it's not at support. And, excuse me, there's no indication that it's at resistance either. So when I'm looking at like EOS right now, it's, you know, there's other things that catch my eye more than that. I own EOS, so I'll hold it for sure. But like, you know, maybe it's more bullish. Looking at this guy, nothing really said there. Lower swing high on RSI, and again, it's kind of just floating around in this neutral land. So there's nothing too noticeable, nothing that catches my eye over here. What was the other one? Cardano. Oh, I skipped Cardano. I'm sorry. No, wait, we already looked at Cardano, didn't we? No, we didn't. Wow. I did skip it. So with Cardano, I love charting Cardano. This is the one of the few ones that I can actually leverage trade. Look at that. I mean, it's just so textbook. I love Cardano. So let's go ahead and put this on the daily. I don't know who asked for this, but I'm really glad you did. Ishmullah. Thank you. Playing some League while listening to the streams. Cheers, dude. Thank you so much, Otter. It means a lot. So when I'm looking at this all on Cardano, again, the Cardano 88 to BTC pairing has just been a like textbook learning experience. And the reason I say that over here is that, and I can break down the whole thing, but basically giant ascending triangle breaks out towards the upside, hits target levels perfectly, and then comes back down. And where does it come back down to? Right back to the same support line of the ascending triangle. So after going on this whole run and it coming back down, it comes right back down to the exact same support that we've held all over here. So now that we have all these, buy points, Cardano's potentially entering a good buying range, potentially. So I might look into potentially buying more here. Why? Because it's near support and it can rally again. The only bad thing about this is that Cardano looks like it's kind of looking at a death cross on the 1 day. So, technically that's a pretty bad thing to see. We'll have to see how it really, I think the big thing here is deciding how it reacts to support and then making a decision from there. Because I think that's really what's needed before doing anything else. Oops. The MACD looks bullish. The RSI looks, in a way, it looks bullish, close to bottom, if not bottomed. I say that because it kind of looks like a lower swing high, but I don't know. I feel like this is just too far away from each other. And something that could very easily happen, and I've seen before, is that it comes down to this relative 30 range, comes back up, sets a lower low, and then actually reverses. And then eventually, if it were to do that, what it would do is actually eventually, like come over here, do something. Oh God, that's really bad. Come over here, do something like this, and bounce around, and then set a lower swing high like this, and then it would like take off again. But potentially, it looks like it is approaching, a buying range or a bounce range in the least. I bought in at 880 Satoshis and been happy guy ever since. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, you bought right at support. So you're literally had the perfect buying opportunity. I mean, you were up almost quadruple your money. Right now, probably about triple. Because what, 1,600? So you were up about 2.5 times what you put in. I mean, your Satoshi value is insane. Even now, you're still up significantly. So, and that just shows you area value. You said you bought around 880. That's like right here. That's like the perfect buy. So good to you. Good for you. And again, seeing over here, why did the run stop here? Because you can see very clearly this was a previous top over here. I have it lined up very well. You can see that previous top still used as top, ended up double topping. And we'll have to see where it goes from here. Maybe it's possible that we just extend this guy. Oops, wrong one. Maybe you can just like extend this guy and say that this is just creating a giant ascending triangle. Something like this. And so then maybe now we're just saying, all right, well now it's just setting a giant ascending triangle up to just rip. Potential, right? It could just be a double top, or it could be the potential of a giant ascending triangle. And in that case, like, okay, so this is where things get tricky, but this is a big if. So if you're charting this, and I'm looking at this and I'm saying, all right, well, if this is a potential ascending triangle, and if I do believe it to be that, and if I do think that this support can hold, again, a lot of ifs, if I do believe that this support can hold and that it can bounce from here, and I'm playing for the macro of this ascending triangle in the long term, easily looking at like 100+%, easily. So, but again, that's like a lot of ifs. So I'll probably look into Cardano a little bit more off stream, but doesn't look too shabby. out over here. Bitcoin. Let me check Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin doing? Kind of just hovering. All right. Fair enough. All right. What was the next one? Ontology. Let's do it. So Ontology to BTC? USD. Ontology to the USDT. Let's look it out. So yes, textbook. I don't know when the last time we talked about this was, but clearly a rising wedge over here, and you can see that it played out again. It must have been about a month ago, at least. So I'm guessing the last time that we looked at this was March, because that's just like what it looks like from this. So the last time I'm assuming that we looked at this was around March, and what I said was, like, you can see your resistance up top, your support down bottom. What this does is it creates a rising wedge, which is a bearish formation, and you did have a little bit of fake out up top, but ultimately this thing actually did end up breaking downwards. And that just shows you, again, like the power of technical analysis. Classic rising wedge. Rising wedge is a bearish formation and continuation pattern, and it respected that. And now it's coming back down and actually saw rejection from the 50 EMA. Former support, now turn resistance, and it really didn't even use it as support that much in here. But you have the 200 EMA, or the 50 EMA on the daily chart being used as resistance now. Nothing too significant. On the 1 day, 4 hour shows double bearish divergence, like straight up. No exceptions. Again, this is pretty neutral, leaning towards, I don't know, it's just neutral at this point. Lower high right here, but in the overall term, you had a lower swing high in the oversold territory, which is a very bullish thing. Again, a reoccurring thing on this stream and in my trading tactics. One of my favorite things to do is see these lower swing highs and higher swing lows in the overbought and in the oversold range. And again, after it showed the lower swing high or the higher swing low, it just took off. And now it's kind of, again, floating around in neutrality land around 50.8 on the RSI 4 hour. Yeah. And so even on the 4 hour chart, so 4 hour death cross, and the 50 EMA on the 4 hours being used as resistance all over the place. Resistance, 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 and resistance. So 4 different times recently, it's just been continually used as resistance, which makes me do think that this is bearish. But if this does break, I would imagine that it goes up to the 200 EMA and tests that area, which it would probably see resistance there because it was formerly support over here, turned into resistance right here. I would imagine that it would still be a resistance over here. So that is my thoughts on Ontology to the USDT. Let's go back to Bitcoin. Also, I need your guys' opinion on something. So recently I did a poll in the YouTube thing. I don't know how many of you guys see the polls, but I did a poll that said, would you guys, as my audience, like to see more or really different content? So I do technical analysis on cryptocurrencies and everything, and I do cryptocurrency videos, but I also trade other things. So I trade cryptocurrencies, I trade, Bitcoin, I trade the altcoins, but I also trade like futures contracts, commodities, index, forex. Would you guys want to see that on this channel and me make videos for all that stuff, or would you guys want to see that on another channel? And so so just tell me your thoughts on that, because It's something I've been thinking about, and I don't know if I'm, if I should just start a new channel for all of those guys and do both, or just put it all on one channel under the name The Crypto Analyst. If you guys can't tell anyway, I'm extremely sunburnt. That's why I look red. It's not the lighting. I'm actually just fried. Forgot to mention that earlier. If I look like a tomato, it's because I'm basically one. Well, let's see what's happening on the Bitcoin. Good old Bitcoin. All right. Nothing too much is still happening. Let me go see what's... BitMEX is moving a little bit. But in the short term over here, I still think it looks bearish overall. I think it's going to set, a new high, possibly a new high on the RSI. Did we just see movement or something? Possibly a new high on the RSI before probably coming back down. That's my opinion. I am bearish on this area, and it's something I mentioned in the live stream, or not in the live, in the video earlier, is that as long as this resistance line is there showing rejection, I'm bearish on Bitcoin. So as long as this area keeps being a level of resistance and it keeps getting rejected, again, how many times can it see rejection before it comes back down here? That's really kind of what I'm looking at. I got a little sunburn on the river this weekend myself. I feel that. I went to a lake. I'm originally from the beach. I was like, I don't need sunscreen for a lake. I'm in the mountains. Horrible decision. BitTorrent token analysis. Let's do it. Let's do it to the BTC, I would assume. So here's the problem with this, is that I just don't have enough information to really do anything. Looks like a falling wedge, but like, again, I don't have enough information to really say anything. I mean, it looks like a falling wedge. The reason that I say that is that it is in a falling formation getting squeezed. So any kind of falling squeeze is probably going to end up being a falling wedge. You're seeing a, sloping down level of both support and resistance that squeezes it together. So even though you don't have the touch points, the formation and the psychology behind the formation it is the same. And so that's what would make me believe that this is a falling wedge, which would ideally mean, like, in a perfect world, it should actually see a breakout pretty soon. On the 4-hour RSI and MACD, absolutely no readings on, absolutely zero reading on either of those. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no reading on either the 4-hour or on the 1-day chart for any kind of the indicators. I think that the 50 EMA is being used as resistance in a weird way. It's only 13 Satoshi, so it's a little bit harder to do real technical analysis on it. We'll make that 12 Satoshis. Just lost like 4% of its value, like, no, 7% of its value. Well, and now it's back up 7% of its value. But yeah, no, ideally, if this is going to play out like a falling wedge, it's a weird chart, but if it is, then I would imagine that it breaks back out, probably maybe to 20 Satoshis or less, maybe like 17, 18 Satoshis, or maybe that's just even like 15 Satoshis around the DMA. But, not too shabby. I don't know a whole lot about the fundamentals behind this, though. It has to have fundamentals to drive the technicals. Because if, like, the fundamentals are just going to crap, then it's a problem. I wonder what the order books are like for this. If I could get in and out of trades really fast on BitTorrent token, then it would actually be a really good thing to trade. Because you could just, like, imagine if you can get in and out of trades really fast, you could literally just be like, buy 12 Satoshi, sell 13, buy 12, sell, you know, like, just do this over and over and over again. But if it's anything like Pundi, it takes days or even weeks for you to get filled on these orders. But that's because I know Pundi order book is really backed up. But if you're able to just ricochet this range, again, every Satoshi that this guy moves is 7.69%. So if you're able to somehow just range trade this thing, like, you can make like a ton of money. But I'm guessing, I haven't looked at the order book. I'm guessing it's pretty backed up, so you can't just enter, exit, enter, exit, enter, exit like every other Satoshi. What are your thoughts on HOT? I have never heard of HOT. Well, I've heard of it. I just don't know what it does. Is that hollow chain? No, it's not. Is it hollow? There's a lot of HOTs. There's HOT 1, HOT 2, and HOT 3. I'm guessing it's hollow. Let me look. I don't know. I don't own it. Never been interested in it. Testimonials. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know enough about it. Governance. Yeah, I don't know enough about it. Never really caught my interest. Last time I saw the Sun BTC was above $6,000. Can you take a look at Bitcoin Cash on BitMEX? BCH thing? Yeah, thank you so much for the ticker. BCH M19. So I guess we got a text. BitMEX. Let's go ahead and take. I love me some MEX. I actually have BitMEX pulled up over here. You guys can see. Why? Because I'm actually in a trade right now. And depending, if we break resistance on Bitcoin, it might be. Wow, ES is ripping. Holy moly. Wow. Forget what I was saying. Anyway, let's take a look at Bitcoin Cash. I'm going to need to turn my phone on Do Not Disturb because it's getting a lot of messages. So, Bitcoin Cash on BitMEX. Very good support line. Falling, I mean, look at this. Clear falling wedge breakout. 1, 2, 3 touch points. 1, 2, 3 touch points. Like, let's go ahead and draw this out. Like, it's so nice. Textbook move. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Breakout. Right to the 50. Right to the moving averages. Right. Like, just textbook move. Now it's kind of floating around. It's just kind of, again, magnetically, I call this like magnetically like sealed sort of deal, because it's just like a magnet. Like, whether it goes up or down, it's just staying around the moving averages as if it's a magnet, or if it, as if it's like magnetically attracted to it sort of thing. I'd have to look at it on the 1 hour for a flag or something. Kind of looks like a descending triangle. But again, it doesn't really have enough information to say anything yet. 4 hour looks a little bit bearish. Pretty neutral. So like no significant information here. I would imagine that it's a little bit bearish, more so than bullish. But like in the same way, if I'm just looking at this from a candle chart, like, it really doesn't have too much resistance over in here. So if it were to just, like, take a move up, if you're looking at it like this, it has a little bit of room to move towards the upside as well. You can see that this previous wick was over here to this guy's previous wick. So now it kind of double topped locally. What would have been nice is if you would have had like a shoulder or something over here, and then that way this could have a shoulder over here, and it would be an inverse head and shoulders pattern. That'd be a really nice situation. But on the 4 hour, it doesn't say, you know, it doesn't say, I would say I'm leaning more. Here's the thing, it's hard to say. It just broke out, so maybe it's just bull flagging to go back up. I'm not really, in all honesty, I'm not really sure. I think the move over here isn't the move wasn't in this area. The move was in all of this area. Because now that this thing's breaking out, like, now's like not necessarily the time to be trading it. It's kind of the same thing with Bitcoin. A lot of people have been really, really frustrated in trading Bitcoin lately, and like they don't trade it, or they've been frustrated, or yada yada yada. That's because like people are trying to trade the wrong areas. And so I think that's like one of the biggest problems is that people try to trade the wrong areas, and it hurts. What did I miss over here? Welcome Spa, and who else is Floyd, and just Jasraj. Hopefully I said your name right. I'm pretty sure I butchered it. Unbridled Rabbit, welcome. BCH to BTC. I think that's what we're looking at. No, we're looking at to USD. Wait, we're looking at BTC now. But yeah, just kind of the same thing. People are missing like the areas that you should be trading. And again, I kind of did this to myself earlier. So like an example of that would be I had a short that was like, I don't know where it was. I had a short like right in here, somewhere like right in this area. And I took profits down here when I should have taken profits down here. So I was trading the right area, but I wasn't patient. A lot of people like get into this area and then they're like, okay, well, I want to short. And I was like that, you know, too. I shorted, I think, 3 times in this area. Eventually, I got the idea that this thing was going to move up, and I stopped shorting it, thank God. And now it's up here. But, like, people are so, you know, they miss the big moves. So wouldn't you rather be catching, like, the big moves like this? This is a horrible example, so I'm sorry. But for Bitcoin Cash, it's kind of the same thing. So you should be trading, and this isn't directly towards you. This is just like an in general statement. But for Bitcoin Cash, like, you know, catch like the bigger move here. Now that this is broken out, it's probably not where I want to be trading it. Why? Because it just broke out. Maybe it could retrace back down. Maybe it could go back up. It's just not the area that I would personally want to be trading it. Why? Because it just broke out, and, you know, even if it does look bearish, again, it just broke out. So this thing could easily just have another leg up, and shorts would be wrecked. So I'm not going to be trading Bitcoin Cash right now, or probably anytime soon. I'd much rather trade Bitcoin, because I think it's easier to just go ahead and look at this guy and say, all right, well, we know where support is. We know where resistance is. This thing is closer towards resistance, so I layer shorts up here. If it breaks through, I set a stop loss. The trade doesn't go through. If it does play out and, you know, I short resistance, and, you know, hopefully it plays in my favor. If not, again, I get stopped out. Maybe I lose 5–10%, potentially gaining, you know, 50%. Hot is trying to decentralize the internet, bro, and they already have products out. I think that's a big thing of any coin is active working products. The people who have that do exceptionally well for the most part. Which coins do you think are going to explode in the next bull run? Are we going to see same or better bull run than 2017-18? That's a hard thing to say. It's a hard question to say. I was talking to someone about this today, big stock guy, and he believes that Wall Street has completely entered into crypto, and they are not going to allow it to go on another major bull run again, because that would create a lot of rich people, and thus they would lose power. And so they don't. So he basically, his belief is that crypto won't ever like have another big run, and that it was a one-time like pump and dump, which it wasn't. That was the third or fourth time it's done the exact same market cycle. But that's like beside the point. In all honesty, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a better one. It very well could be. But if I'm in all honesty, I'm not really sure. I've been around in crypto for a long time. The only thing that is hard about saying that it's going to be a bigger bull run is that arguably you should be having smaller bull runs in theory as time goes on, because the market cap is now higher, which makes pushing prices up harder as well, because it's easier to push Bitcoin. So to push Bitcoin from $10 to $20 is or from $100 to $200, or even let's do this. This is a better example. So from pushing Bitcoin from $1,000 to $2,000 is really easy, because the amount of market cap it takes for Bitcoin to move from 1,000 to 2,000 is substantially smaller than what it takes to get from 5,000 to 10,000. So you take a significantly more market cap to get from 5,000 to 10,000. Now both double your money, but one takes a significantly smaller amount to influence that money. And so with each bull run happening, you need a larger and larger and larger market cap. So if you say you want to like triple your money in Bitcoin every bull run, that will become increasingly harder and harder and harder in theory, because you're having to like triple the market cap over and over and over again. And so what once was $10 billion was then $100 billion, and now that's $1 trillion that you have to do. And so you need increasingly more and more and more money, which and thus makes it harder to move the price. And that's why you see like a lot of like the big stocks and stuff only move like 1% in a day, or not, or like 0.5%. It's because there's so much money in them. The money that's moved around doesn't influence the price as much, because of the fact that there's so much money in it. There's trillions or like, you know, billions, or, you know, maybe in trillions of dollars in like the stocks. So what's 1 billion going to do? If 1 billion just gets taken out of crypto, you notice it. If 1 billion gets taken out of like the NASDAQ or something, you don't notice it nearly as much. Hopefully that made sense. But to answer your question about coins, what coins I think are going to do well, I think PundiX is going to do good. I think Bitcoin will do good. I think XRP will do good. I think I mean, I own a lot of coins. I own like EOS, Cardano. I have a whole list of them. Let me show you. Binance Coin, I think, is another great one. So like, yeah, these are like all the coins that I own. Bitcoin, Pundi. I don't know if I still own all of these, but these are all the ones that I want to own. I think I might have sold some of them. I'm not sure. Bitcoin, XRP, Pundi, EOS, Cardano, TRX, Amise Go, BAT, Stellar Lumens, Binance Coin. Honorable mentions are Encash, Karma, Ravencoin, and Neblio. Ravencoin has been absolutely on fire lately, but those are the ones. So here, I'll leave that up. Sorry, if you guys want to take a look at this real fast, I'll like leave it up over here. Who do you recommend from learning besides yourself? I like to watch a lot of channels. I think that the other channels that I watch, the other guys that I respect in doing technical analysis, I don't like to watch a lot of guys. But when it comes to cryptocurrency specifically, cryptocurrency technical analysts, I think good ones. I think Four Flies is a really good one. I think what's his name? Chart Champions, previously known as Daniel 4K. He is another great one. Who else is there? Those are probably the two that I respect the most. I think if you want to learn, those are probably two of your better ones, Chart Champions and definitely Four Flies. If you want to learn like more day trading style, I think Crown's Crypto Cave is like a very, very good one. I have a ton of respect for Crown. I think he's very smart and one of the best at what he does. Besides that, maybe a little bit of Kevin Svensson. I haven't watched too much of him, but I know he's not like an idiot like a lot of people are. And Filicone isn't too bad either. Filicone knows what he's doing at least. So those would be like those guys, because there's a lot of people who are just idiots when it comes to this stuff. There's a lot of people who won't show you, like, they'll talk all about it on stream, and then when it comes to like the actual TA, it's just like, or not even that, when it comes to like them being like, okay, well, how do you do in your trades? And like, oh, you know, I'm great. And then it's like, oh, well, can we see? And they're like, I don't know. And so the reason why I was saying those guys is because there's a lot of other people on YouTube who are really great. They're really great traders, but they're not good like YouTubers, if that makes any sense. If they're not good like for their YouTube channel, for what you get, there's people who are great at trading and also have YouTube channels. Like, so like Crypto Kirby is like another one. I would not recommend him. The reason why is because this whole thing is like, it's kind of like a reality TV show sort of thing. He's a really smart guy, but half the time he's either shilling his course or he's like dramaticking something or like smashing his desk. You always hear like the beating. I don't know, the whole thing. So, and he doesn't really say much besides like, he doesn't really do much to teach you besides just be like, buy my course and you'll have everything, or buy my whatever it's called, like buy my program. Like I have my Patreon at the end of every live stream that I promote, but like his thing's like every video. So I would say Four Flies, Daniel 4K, or not Daniel 4K, Chart Champions, and whoever else I said. It's called the Hollow Port. I'll have to look into that. I know NPX, well, Pundy has another working product. He says, why no Ethereum? So here's the thing. I used to own Ethereum, Michael, but I don't anymore. I sold all my Ethereum. I got some EOS. I got some Pundy. And Pundy and EOS kicked Ethereum off the list. Same thing with Litecoin. I don't own any. I got rid of my Litecoin. I got rid of my Ethereum for coins that I just believe in more. Not to say that I just think bad about them, but I would just, if I had this, because I'm always asked the question, if you had to only own 10 coins, what would they be? What would your top 10 coins be? This is them. So, yeah. Please look at LCX. All right. Crypto Hippo is really good. Oh, yeah. So I actually like Crypto Hippo. He's a nice guy. His video, he always like just puts a smile on my face. Crypto Hippos, yeah. His camera is like, I don't know what it is. Or no, it's not his camera. Maybe it's his green screen. It's like, kind of like buggy. But he, like, the guy's great. Yeah, Crown is really great too. I agree. Mitch Ray is really good. I need to check out one of Mitch Ray's recent videos. Michael, if you don't know, me and Mitch Ray used to work together. So, I know good old Mitch. Lord Ray, as he used to be called. Check out Mise Go, BTC, looking for a long entry. Yeah, for sure. OMG, BTC. Ooh. Hello. Again, the problem here is that there's no thing to really judge off of over here. But if I am looking downwards over at this guy, what I can tell is, well, one, clear rejection from the 50 EMA right here. So, clear rejection from the 50 EMA, death cross up here on your 4-hour chart, came all the way down, and approaching the previous low over here in this range. So maybe what, so it's hard because you want to be able to do a fib retracement over here. Where is it? I want to be able to do a fib retracement over here, but in order to have an accurate fib retracement, I have to be assuming that this is the bottom. So assuming that this is the bottom, I would imagine that it goes up to probably at least like a 382 or 60 or a 618 retracement. So my areas would be around here, and around here. And the 382 would make a lot of sense because you have consolidation resistances here as well. So let's take a look at the indicators. Bearish divergence on the 4-hour MACD. And pretty neutral, looking a little bit bullish on the 4-hour. I don't like how it formed the lower low. It's bullish on the 1-day MACD, and I would say bullish on the 1-day RSI. Higher low, now going upwards. So I would say that this kind of does look like it's potentially bottoming out. And again, it's kind of hard to say that it's hard to say that. It's the same situation with like a couple of the other altcoins right now, is that they're below previous ranges. So it's hard to judge whether or not accurately, because it can just keep falling and you have nothing to measure it from besides the indicators. Yeah, I mean, but like from the MACD over here on the 1-day, the MACD 1-day looks like it's, you know, pretty bullish. And your RSI coming from oversold set a higher low upon coming back down, wasn't a swing high or wasn't another swing low. But it is a higher low nonetheless, you know, in the short term. Any thoughts on Elastos? I don't know enough about Elastos. That's ICX technical analysis, I mean. Oh, Nick Trades is also good. She's from the UK. I have not heard of her, so I can't say. I need to go check out. A lot of people that watch me also watch Mitch. I need to go see Mitch because I haven't seen Mitch in literally almost a year. So I need to go check him out. I'm sure he's doing great. I mean, he like knows what he's doing when it comes to YouTube and stuff like that for a while. Cause like I don't know, he's a much better entertainer than I am, because I get on and I kind of just like tunnel vision on the charts. And he's very good. He's much better at like balancing the people in the charts than I am. Tell you what, he is making hella money. Holy moly. Jeez. All right. So yeah, for Amise Go, oh wait, I missed, where's my chat at? I don't think it's quite bottom yet. Yeah, and I mean, rightfully so, because it's still showing rejection from the 200 EMA and coming back down, at least for the time being. You're at this previous bottom now, seeing if, you know, maybe that's still relevant. But, you know, it's hard to say because you have nothing to measure this off of. Right? I would say maybe once the 50 starts rounding back up towards the upside, and maybe once it can crush over the 50 again and get like a good established trend, then it might be worth jumping in then. But, you know, I know I can't tell you what to do, but like, you know, I don't know. It's in a weird spot, to say the least. It's in a sticky situation. You know, Poker, keep messaging me about this one because I definitely want to keep an eye on it, but it's in a really weird spot at the moment. So I probably wouldn't be taking a long down here, and we can do so. Let's do some TA on it. I don't even know why I haven't already. Even then, like, I don't know how I'm gonna chart this guy. Maybe something like that. So maybe if you draw it like that, it's already broken out. So then maybe it's like a break hook and go, where it comes up, then back down, then out. Maybe like that. I'm not sure. I just don't think that there's enough information to tell whether or not this is the bottom or not. That's the big thing. I think it just needs more information for the time being. What am I looking at? BTC or USD? Not moving too much. All right. Let me, who is this? Nick Trades. Let me check them out. Yeah, I've never seen this person before, so I cannot talk on them. All right. So with Bitcoin over here, really nothing's happening. There's no really new information over here to talk about. We've pretty much gone over everything and a lot of the altcoins in today's video, and on the live stream tonight we've gone over it a couple times. So there's really no new information. I'm currently bearish on Bitcoin. I think it's going to fall back down here. If this resistance breaks, I think it's in a really good position to push to a higher high. But until that resistance breaks, I don't think that there's a reason to be bullish. So until that resistance breaks, you know, I am just going to keep sitting bearish. But for the most part, that's going to be pretty much it for the end of the live stream. If you guys haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, before you guys go, I want to know your guys' thoughts, because I mentioned this earlier and no one responded to it, and I do have a poll up already, so thank you guys to whoever's answered that already. But with this channel, I do want to make more content on like stocks and commodities and forex and futures. But the real question is, should I do that on this channel, or should I create a new channel and then make all those videos on a separate channel, or should I just lob them all onto this channel and have like cryptos and everything on this channel, all kinds of stuff like investing things? So I want to know your guys' thoughts on that. So like comment like if you guys think I should just get a new channel for it. Like, I'm not going to be offended or anything. I'm just really trying to figure out like what everyone wants. So that way, like, nobody wants to see like forex video, or not forex, like commodities and indexes and futures contracts videos on this channel, and then me do it anyway. But yeah, so drop the like button also before you guys do head out. If you guys want, oh, I got a message. Hold up. Okay, yeah, thank you, Poker. Also, if you guys are interested in joining the Discord, it's where like my community resides. There's a link for that in the description down below, completely free, no strings attached. You literally click on the link. I think you might have to create like a Discord account, but other than that, you can literally just join my server. And we have chat rooms for like BitMEX and swing trading and just general chat. It's where like me and a lot of other traders hang out. It's a pretty cool deal, completely free, if you guys are interested in that. And then the Patreon, I had that pulled up earlier. Basically, the Patreon is like a way that I compensate myself for the videos that I make, because YouTube doesn't really pay you anything. I don't even know how I can pull it up. Basically, this is the Patreon. I do this at the end of every live stream. Basically, this is a way that I support myself. There's also a link for this in the description down below. Basically, what it is that you pay for one of the two tiers. The main one is the tier 1, where I give Bitcoin updates explaining where I believe Bitcoin's going and why. I tell you guys when I enter and exit my trades, along with a lot of other cool stuff. So it's pretty cool. If you guys want to check that out, there's a link for it in the description down below. Don't want to shill that too much because it's annoying, to say the least. It annoys me when I do it. Just make a playlist for it on your channel, bro. Stocks, metals, and crypto kitties. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. It's kind of harder to get useful sponsorships for cryptocurrency when you make only cryptocurrency content, because a lot of people are like, they roll their eyes, basically. So what happens is that they just roll their eyes at you and they're like, oh, okay. But if you're doing like futures contracts and indexes and stuff like that, then people are like you know, oh shoot, they like take you more seriously. Which I do, and a lot of people just don't know that I trade them because I never talk about them. Speaking of them, nice. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this live stream, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot them over to me on Discord or however, whatever works, really. But yeah, I'll hang out in here for a couple minutes if you guys have any questions. But other than that, really for the most part, this live stream is done. So if you guys have any questions, I'd love to be able to answer those. I'm probably just going to take a look at this chart. And, yeah. Trying to figure out my stuff. Another cool thing, if you guys don't know, so if you guys are like wondering like how I do my my trading through, like, I don't know if I can show this. Can I show this? I think I can. I don't know if I can. I probably shouldn't. If I don't know, I probably shouldn't. But basically, it was going to show like the commodities and stuff, the future stuff. Bitcoin does look like it's actually seeing a little bit of resistance over here. Just a little. Oh, never mind. That was quickly broken. We're actually getting a little bit of movement, at least on BitMEX at least. BitMEX is moving. This chart is not. If it can break its previous high over here, like in the short term on like the 1 hour chart, let's go ahead and look at that. If it can break its previous high on the 1 hour chart, like right over in here, then it could probably retest its upper high. So what I'm still expecting is ultimately a lower high, and then to like really see that guy come back down. So I'm not too worried, even if it does start moving up. But again, you know, maybe it does. Maybe it just breaks resistance. And in that case, I'm probably going to exit. Be sure, first, don't risk it. Yeah. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the end of the live stream, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. I'm actually really tired. I'm going to go get some rest and just chill out. So, appreciate all you guys coming through. And I will see you guys soon. Should have a new video up tomorrow as well, so that'll be cool. I'm trying to decide if I want to do more altcoin videos. I never, you know, I probably will. So I might do another Bitcoin update tomorrow. If there's nothing new, if there's nothing to update on Bitcoin, then I might just do an altcoin video, or like, I haven't done like a fundamental macro analysis in a while. So I might do a macro analysis of Bitcoin. But anyway, see you guys. Have a great night. And if you guys have any questions, shoot them to me.